the rest of this, where this starts to go downhill. My background, David mentioned, I've worked for Young Life and have been in the camping ministry for about 15 years. And so I've had the privilege to get to help share and prepare the platform for the gospel to be shared with high school students, college-age kids, adults, families. And so over those years, there's a job title associated with what your responsibilities are. But really what I had learned, what had happened, was I was being given an assignment from the Lord. It's called a vocation, right? Everything else is an occupation, but a vocation that God is very clear and has been helping me learn more and understand and develop in me. It is to gather believers and help them grow in their faith. And part of that is going to include evangelism and discipleship, right? And so I have had the privilege to do that at incredible places, premier facilities, and then we spent 2.5 years in Indiana before we moved here, doing it at a place that probably should have been burned down, and it would have been more productive there. And even then, God was very faithful, reminding me of His, very generous in reminding me of His faithfulness and preparing us often, like many times, using current situations to prepare you for something that's next, and still not quite giving you all of the picture, right? And so, how did I get to Doulos? I'm going to blame the Lord on that one. Although I will say He chose to use Brian, and based off the way you guys chuckled when his name was mentioned before, I think you guys have also prayed for Brian in the past. And so, to be completely transparent, he's my best friend and the first person I would call if my family needed something. And so I heard about Doulos, just knowing off and on something that Brian's dad did. I got to meet David one time in Indiana. He came and fished. I think he outfished me. And had a couple conversations about some Greek translation, go figure. And so we were rolling in Indiana, running that camp, trying to get that off the ground, and thrilled with what God was doing, and there was disruption and this releasing of that assignment in that location, but my vocation was still in place, if that makes sense. And through praying and just going, Lord, what are you doing? Why? What's the purpose in this? There was an avenue that opened up with Doulos. Brian sent me some handwritten notes, 9:30 at night, and I mean, Jan will tell you, she's smiling right now. She knows he's the only person who I make her wait when I'm on the phone with. Hey, I'll call you back. Brian's calling. And so Brian sent me some notes about COTW. I had to try to Google that to figure out what it was. Right, it's the Coalition of the Willing, and he just said I share and mapping, and no other context. And so our relationship, we don't really like to wait, and we typically always talk about whatever ministry we're involved in, what God's doing. We can't turn it off. And so I finally got to hear more about what Doulos was, the history, like David kind of walked through and highlighted, and then met him in Louisville, Kentucky. We met in a hotel lobby for 6 hours, and Jan and I had prayed about it and said, hey, I'm not going to look into this if we're not willing to say yes, and we'll just trust that the Lord will close that door. And at the end of our meeting, I told David, I said, hey, just so you know, this is the most time we've spent, but if you offer me a job, we're coming to Birmingham. Will you hire me? And so I think he was surprised a little bit at that. Wasn't counting on that going that way, but so we came to Birmingham. Y'all, we fell in love with this place, but more importantly, God made it very clear that the vocation of gathering believers and helping them grow in their faith had not changed. The range and scope and what my role in that has shifted, and it can be intimidating to go, I've given this responsibility of 800 acres and incredible things happen to you. Now I need you to play a part in the world. that's not, that's hard to get your head around sometimes. And so then as I learned about iShare, and I learned about the coalition, I'm going, oh my gosh, y'all, the body is behaving the way the body is to behave, the way it's laid out in Scripture, and that gets me fired up. That's what I'm supposed to do. And then all of a sudden, I learned more about iShare, and I'm going, wait, this can't be that straightforward. And when you, on the very bottom of that sheet, the problem to solve, there's a little number, it's three digits, because we abbreviated it, it's $3.75 billion. All of a sudden, you have the solution. It's a big target, but we know where we're going. You see the active spread of Christianity. Sending agencies, ministries are not competing with each other. They're going, you're good at this, and I'm not. You're good at this, and I'm not. Let's work collaboratively together. There's no waste. The stewardship. I go, it's just a reflection of Doulos' heartbeat, and I go, I have to be a part of this. I have to wave the flag. I have to rally people to get behind, right? Like, how do I help bolster the tip of the spear? And so after I was driving back from Louisville, after I spoke with David, called Jana, and then I called Brian, and I knew he was desperate to know how it went, and I didn't really want to feed him information. I like to make him wait. I'm that kind of friend. I'm hard to be friends with. And I kind of smirked in the car, and I just said, Brian, y'all are a bunch of arms dealers for the kingdom. And I want to do that too. I want to be a part of a Bible translation. I want to be a part of reaching people who've never heard the name of Jesus. 15 years I spent preparing meals in a platform so that people have the chance to hear the name, and then the responses between them and the Lord. You're telling me 40% of the world doesn't even have that. That's a problem. And so we packed up and moved to Birmingham and learned about Achieve. And I go, this is a very big problem to solve, but we have the solution. So I go, I've never fundraised money. I said I'd never lived in the South. I hate public speaking. You guys were very polite and didn't ask if I was from here. Kind of already knew.
So Melaad Zara-E, I wonder what gave it away.
Not a name out of Montgomery. So, but I'm thrilled to be here. My family is thrilled to be here. We started giving as soon as we could, and as soon as we got here. I don't have the ability to ask people to donate and give money if I'm not doing that. And I told David, I'm not going to do that. My job, I probably should have said that in the beginning, my job is to do development in Alabama. And so I will be going up and down I-65, stuck on 280 when I'm back home. But really my job is to tell the story and invite people to rally behind what's happening. And so I haven't done development before. One of the things I learned, David said, you have to always never leave a meeting without an ask. No, well, that's going to be hard. I don't know any of these people, so. But what I do feel like I have the grounds, even though I don't know you guys, I have the ground to stand on and go, will you help me plant one more church? That may not be money. That may not be funds that God's given you. It may be relationships, it may be networking, or make no mistake, it may be money. It may be a lot of money. One more church could mean a lot of things. It could mean one this year, one this week, one every day. It could be one in 5 years. But the urgency behind what is happening and the ground that we're losing, I need help. And I think y'all are here because that in some way is valuable. It means something to you and you care about that. And so that's a little bit about us. we do live here. We did move here to, I'm not just here visiting for the week. Oh gosh, that'd be terrible to pack up all those boxes again. Jana would have something to say about that, so. But pray about helping us plant one more church. And I'm here, and I'd love to meet with you guys individually. I love barbecue.
Not too bad with sushi either.
So that's right. Or if it's coffee or breakfast in the morning, whatever it is, let me know. And if you're interested and want to meet, don't leave here without getting my contact information. I have a really cool trick to show you on how to get that on someone's phone.
Yeah.
So don't miss that. And if you're not, if you are going to leave here without my contact info, then shame on you. I've been really impressed with everyone I've met so far who's involved with DLOS. One of the things that's just kind of blown the doors off for me is the commitment that everyone has in their own faith to being obedient to what the Lord's asked them to do in their walk. And that was probably one of the first things I told David. I said the maturity of people has surprised me. And maybe that's just because I've been working with 14-year-olds for 15 years, but I do think I've been able to pinpoint and see clearly people actively responding to the Lord being in their life daily. Otherwise, this doesn't happen. So, and so we have that in common already. So I appreciate y'all coming out and giving us a few moments. And if there's questions for me, that's great. And or if we need to bring David back up here, we can do that too. But
Well, I think it would be helpful, just, so I have 116 people in my portfolio right now.